Good afternoon, scholars. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at multiplying by powers of 10. What do we mean by powers of 10? By powers of 10 we mean tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, 100,000. So typically they will have a 1 followed by a number of zeros. Those are powers of 10. Multiplying by powers of 10 is very easy because we already use the base 10 system in our addition, subtraction, and so on. Our system of numerals is the decimal or the base 10 system. So working with powers of 10 is pretty simple. Just listen to the steps, and once you follow these steps, you'll be totally fine. So it says to multiply a whole number by a power of 10, just add zeros, add that many zeros. So if you're multiplying by 10, you add 1 0 to the end of the number. That's all. If you're multiplying by 100, if you're multiplying a whole number, regular whole numbers, by 100, you simply add 2 zeros, since 100 has 2 zeros. If you're multiplying a whole number by 1,000, you simply add 3 zeros, and so on. That's all it takes. So you actually don't have to set out 5 times 10 and work it like how you have to do for other numbers. You'd have to set out the multiplication, multiply by that digit, and then you don't have to do that. Once you're dealing with powers of 10, you simply add zeros to the end of the whole number. So we can take less than a minute to fill these in then, right? Because all we need to do is to look which power of 10 we're multiplying by and add that number of zeros. So 5 times 10, we're multiplying by 10, we're just going to add a 0 to the 5. 5 times 10 is 50. Okay? 21 times 10, we're just going to add a 0 to the 21, and we're going to get 210. 329 times 10, we're going to add a 0 to the end of the 9, we're going to get 3,290. 8,636 times 10, add a 0 to the end, so it's going to become 86,360. See how simple it is? We just add zeros. That's all. There's no trick, no magic. Now we're multiplying by 100. So remember what it says, just look how many zeros we're multiplying by, add that number of zeros. So since 100 has 2 zeros, we're just going to add 2 zeros to the end. So 51 times 100 would give 5,100. 623 times 100, we just write back the 623 and add 2 zeros. So now it becomes 62,300. As simple as that. 9,416 times 100. So we write back the 9, 4, 1, 6, add 2 zeros. So that's 941,600. Do you see how simple it is? We're multiplying by 10, we add a 0 to the end of the number. We're multiplying by 100, we add 2 zeros to the end of the number. So what would we do then if we're multiplying by 1,000? How many zeros are there in 1,000? 1, 2, 3. So it simply means we're just going to add 3 zeros to the end. So 2 times 1,000, we'd write back the 2 and 3 zeros. 2 times 1,000 would give 2,000. 36 times 1,000, we'd write back the 36, add our 3 zeros, so we would get 36,000. 9,148 times 1,000. So we write those back. Add 3 zeros. So what does this now become? 9,148,000. That's a big number. Yeah, because we multiplied it by 1,000. It was a big number to begin with, and then we multiplied by 1,000. So that's 9,148,000. So to recap this section, we're dealing with whole numbers. We're multiplying them by powers of 10. What we mean by power of 10, 10, 100, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, those are all powers of 10. It's 10 times something. 10 times 1, 10 times power of 1, 10 times itself, 10 times itself times itself. So they are all powers of 10, right? When you go further up in your studies, you look at powers, which tell you how many times you multiply a number by itself. You don't need to concern yourself with that now, but just know that these are the powers of 10, 10, 100, 1,000, and so on. And all we need to do is to look how many zeros there are in the power of 10 that we're multiplying by, and add that number of zeros to the end of the whole number. So 5 times 10 gives 50, 21 times 10 gives 210, 329 times 10 gives 3,290, 8,636 times 10 gives 86,360, 51 times 100 gives 5,100, 623 times 100 gives 62,300, 9,416 times 100 gives 941,600. 2 times 1,000 gives 2,000. 36 times 1,000 gives 36,000. 9,148 times 1,000 gives 9,148,000. Now we're going to look what we need to do when we're multiplying decimals by powers of 10. So decimals will of course have a decimal point in them. It's also simple because all we need to do is to identify where the decimal point is, and we're going to move that point, the number of places, to the right. So if we're multiplying by 10, 10 has 1 0, we're moving 1 place to the right. If we're multiplying by 100, we're going to move 2 places to the right, this direction. If we're multiplying by 1,000, we're going to move 3 places in this direction. Sorry, I have the wrong signs, so I'm going to erase these. These should be multiplied. The division will be in the next lesson, so look out for that. Dividing by powers of 10. So we're focusing on the multiplication. Okay, so we're multiplying. We're focusing on multiplication in this lesson. We're moving any number of places to the right of the decimal point. So we're actually, it's as if we're taking the decimal point and shifting it to the right. So 1.8 times 10, we're going to move 1 place to the right. So it's like we're moving it from here and shifting it this way. So now it's going to end up at the end of the number. Now, if you have a decimal point at the end of the number, you actually don't need to write the decimal point. So all we need to write here is 18. Okay? 1.8 times 10 gives 18. 26.3 times 10, again we're going to move one place to the right. And again it takes a decimal point to the end of the number. We don't need to write it, because all whole numbers really have an imaginary decimal point at the end, right? We could write it as that number 0.0000. So 0.05 times 10, so this is where the decimal is. We're moving it one place. It's going to come now between this 0 and the 5, so it's going to be 0.5. 614.9 times 10, moving it one place to the right. Again, it's going to leave this at the end of the number, so we just have 6,149. Now we're multiplying by 100. 100 has two zeros, so we're going to move two places. From the decimal point, two places. So here we go, 1, 2. It's going to take us in between the 1 and the 7, so it's 1.7. 1.7. Here we're multiplying 8.6 times 100, so we move it 1, 2. There's nothing there beside the 6, so what happens then? We actually have to go fetch our universal placeholder, our beloved 0. The zeros are always on standby because they know we need them. So we had nothing here, but we have to hold that place because now we have created a new place by multiplying by the 100. So it's 860. We must fill that place. Here again, we're multiplying 17.3 times 100. We're moving two places, 1, 2. So again, we're going to go for our 0 to fill right here. So it's going to be 1730. 1730. Here we're multiplying 0.6294 by 1,000. 1,000 has 3 zeros. That means we're going to be moving 3 places to the right. So let's go. That's 1, 2, 3. It's going to fall right between the 9 and the 4. So we're going to have 629.4. 629.4. Okay. So 2 more to go. We're multiplying by 1,000. So 3 places. 1, 2, 3. There's nothing here. So we need our 0 to come help us out to hold this place here. So we're going to have 514,680. And finally, we're multiplying 79.41 by 1,000. So that's 1, 2, 3. Again, we need our 0 to help us out right here, to hold this place right here. That's 79410. Okay, so 1.8 times 10 gives 18. 26.3 times 10 gives 263. 0.05 times 10 gives 0.5. 614.9 times 10 gives 6,149. 0.017 times 100, 2 places now, 100, we get 1.7. 8.6 times 100 gives 860. 17.3 times 100 gives 1,730. 0.6294 times 1,000, so 1,000 is 3 places to the right, we're multiplying. We get 629.4. 514.68 times 1,000 gives 514,680. And 79.41 times 1,000 gives us 79,410. Alright? It's beautiful when you have a system like the base 10 system. All you have to do is add zeros. If you're multiplying by a whole number by a power of 10, just add the 0 at the end. Pretty simple. Multiplying by 10, add 1 0. Multiplying by 100, add 2 zeros. Multiplying by 1,000, add 3 zeros. And the beat goes on and on and on. Just look at how many zeros the power of 10 has. Add that number of zeros to the end of the whole number. If it's a decimal you're dealing with, you're going to locate the decimal point and you're going to move from the decimal point that number of places to the right. That way. That way. From the decimal point to the right. So if we're multiplying by 10, we move 1 place to the right. Multiplying by 100, 2 places to the right. Multiplying by 1,000, 3 places to the right, and so on. Okay, that's all there is to multiplying by powers of 10. Look out for the video that's coming up next, dividing by powers of 10. Look out for that video. If this video has helped you, please share it so that other students can benefit. Share it to your friends, your neighbors, your classmates, far and wide, so that all students can benefit who need the help. Also, please comment to say, thank you, Miss, for helping me. And if you have any suggestions as to what other videos I can do to help you, please drop in the comments. Let me know which videos you'd like me to do tutorials on. Take care until next time. I'll see you in the next video.